Got Najee. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, what's going on? Y'all be fast. But yeah, so I mean with Umar, it's for me personally, I think, it could be a little bit of everything, grift and also just kind of like pussy pandering, you know what I mean? So I just think that, Umar just uses the black man as like a whipping boy, you know what I mean? Just more or less like the pander to black women, not for black uplift, but just for black woman access. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. And the anti-blackness is just real crazy because there was and y'all can look this up. There was like studies during the pandemics that, with the influx of the PPP loans and just basically being able to sit home and collect unemployment on top of that extra money on top of unemployment, a lot of black people opened businesses despite the pandemic, so that's another point. And even when you just touched on the thing, the whole trope about the Nike sneakers, that has to die,
Yeah.
because just like what you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
you
yeah,
you,
because
you
yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, like that, like we're not the only ones that go out there and buy Nike or any type of name brand. They make it seem like we the ones that go out there and buy a whole bunch of designer things. And when again, the pocket watching is real.
Right. Because I mean, because we don't even really have the pop. If these entities, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Nike, if they solely depended on the black dollar, they would go out of business. Period. We just basically set the trends and make things popular. You know what I mean? That's more or less what we do. Just like when you gave the example, it was that meme that was going around, and all in a room. It was a bunch of white people in the room and not one Gucci belt. But you pointed out, look at his what's on his wrist. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You know what I mean? You don't know what kind of shoes he has on because I'm from New Jersey. So when I'm in the Short Hills Mall, there's nothing but Asians, whites, Middle Easterns in the Louis Vuitton store. It's not an abundance of black people. A lot of black people work there. So we just more or less like need to stop. And at the end of the day, I close with this. Umar Johnson is just the conscious version of Charleston White. I mean, just period. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes he's going to be on point. Sometimes he's going to say something off point. So that's just who he is. Right.
Appreciate. Was that it? All right, clearly it was. But thank you, Najee, for coming up. Next, we got, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Clock Havoc?
It's C like HVAC, Taurean.
Oh, my bad. That just shows you how much I read into a C Lock Havoc. HVAC, my bad. I still said it wrong again. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I've been following Umar same time around you. Actually, when I was in high school, when I first learned about him, that was 2014, 2015. And I was on board. I was on point with everything he was saying, and especially regarding trades and all. But as I've gotten older in the last 10 years, I've seen what he's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around 2 years ago when he went on the daily wrap up crew. And he
Mm-hmm.
was basically, I think Miss Amethyst Winter said the same thing, misleading his base, black women. And he told those guys that black men just need to date single mothers. And Tarian, when I saw that, it's like a hornet's nest just stirred up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like she said, Amethyst said, if you're gonna tell black women what they want to hear versus what they need to know, you part of the damn problem.
Yeah.
And Umar at this point, excuse my French, he's a fucking problem. Like he just is. And as a young guy, you wonder why my generation is just not looking at black women like that. And Umar, in my opinion, is he's one of the reasons why a lot of these brothers in the manosphere, whatever these red pill, whatever you want to call it, they just be taking a slam dunking on black women. So I think with black women waking up and saying, "Hey, this you ain't about nothing, Umar," I think it's going to start changing around. People are going to start not taking him serious and all. So, and hopefully, that'll happen a lot sooner than later. But as for the reparations, he's dead wrong. Black folks are definitely owed reparations in this country,
Mm-hmm.
especially after everything that's done happened to us. So I don't know what he's on right now.
That's another grip that he's on. Like I've said before, I said, and I'll say it again. I even put it on the merch. The foundation of every grifter's grift is the degradation of Black people, especially Black Americans. And I have yet to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm not gonna keep you long. I gotta go check out a Medium Man. He's going live right now, so I'm gonna land my plane right here. Y'all take care, man.
Too. Shout out to C-Lot HVAC. I wanted to make sure I got the name correct for coming up. Next, we got Chaos Rain. What's going on?
Thank God. Taurean, what do you expect? You don't think this is gonna be a full line if you open the lines? Do you know how much Black people have been waiting that don't give this dude money no more for years now? And let's be honest about grifting. Black men, Black women, let's be honest. Grifting is the only way Negroes today are going to get some form of money to sustain themselves, period. Dr. Umar Johnson does have to be concerned about reparations, regardless if he's Cuban or not. He already got his reparations. He got from the Black community for over the last 10 years. Who gave this man over $1 million? What he has done with the money since he kicked off the initiative? I know, I was there. You were there, Taurean, when you started doing content on YouTube back in, was it 2009? I've been following this man since 2010. The days when Dawa Yusra brought him on to Chicago. That's what really brought his attention throughout the whole internet world. Back in 2010. How I know? Go YouTube it if it still exists. Because Brother Dawa died 2 years and a few months ago. This brother from Chicago, Alexa, brought him on to Chicago, and he laid out what he is, what he does. Since then, that's what started kicked off his attention to the Black community more. That's a historical background. Oh, people didn't know that? Look it for yourself. It'll give you a date if it still exists on YouTube. If not, I gotcha. Be patient. But overall, with him, right? With him especially, give me about if Black people deserve reparations or this generation deserve reparations. He forgot, said reparations is a debt owed to Black people that's still here in America, regardless they assimilate, whether they absorb or not. Every other group of people that comes to America got some form of repair by the government, hand over fist, that don't even deserve nothing. Let's be brutally honest, bro. So why is Black people different? I'm very much questioning the motive. But I see why he does this, because his griffing and how he goes back right now on the internet, you know when the curtain is falling, Taurean, is when you have to keep constantly moving the goalposts. You have to keep constantly changing your talking points. When it gets to the point right now where it says, you don't deserve money because you just don't deserve money, it is actually a wrap. He's already moving on to some other things. Think about it. He's a content creator now, so anything that comes out of his mouth is already wild already. So him saying that, Black people should not be owed reparations is fascinating, astonishing to me. And one important question I'd ask you, Taurean, was this on your Discord? This actual video that he had this interview with this man talking about Black people should get reparations? I've been trying to find that.
I got this off of Twitter.
Okay,
if you go like I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but if you just go on the Twitter and just type in Umar Johnson reparations, this video that I showed should pop up.
Oh, okay.
That's what.
Okay.
This wasn't sent to me in the Discord. Like I saw it on Twitter. I actually saw it on Instagram first, but I couldn't. But on Instagram you can't download anything off. Well, you can, but it's like it's a process. Whereas I can just go on to Twitter and it's easier for me to do it. So I just went and looked up that same video and found it on Twitter and downloaded it.
Well, I think I got you on Discord. I'll find your name. I'll send a link where you could download videos from Discord, IG, because there are things you could download any videos on that instead of sitting there just looking at it. You could download anything. You gotta find the right link to find download. But overall, the griffing right now is not even an all-time high. He's wrapping up what he's doing right now. And let's be honest, he will leave America eventually. And when he leaves America, he's going to just give an excuse, say, well, I tried, but Black people didn't want, so I guess I'd go somewhere else, because he already made his money. This was the end game at the start. There's no school being developed, and if it did develop, it's going to be gone in less than a year. This is all preparing him so when he makes his departure and say, I have an excuse why I departure. And you know who's going to blame it on? Taurean? Niggas. This is an exit strategy. And let me tell you something. Black women, if they're going to still continue to support him, by God, be great. Go ahead, boo boo. Give this man all your money because he tells you what you want to hear. Because let's be honest, Taurean, he said to only a few black women that already looked at and viewed the community differently, look at black people, especially black men differently. They will watch his content all day, every day, even Sunday. But the ones that are heads on right, that's smart, that knows that men had to move with purpose and people got to move in the community with a purpose, they're not going to follow his bullshit. Sorry, I got to say out there. So, like I said, there should be enough more people should really be paying attention to Dr. Umar. And if you hear or see that come out of his mouth is garbage. All that pro-black Pan-Africanism is garbage. He just dumped it all the way down the drain now when he said that black people do not deserve reparations, especially the Generation Zs, millennials, or anybody that's coming up. You get me? I never seen a man or woman that talks bad about black people say that what we do with our money. That's just astonishing. If she want to pay her bills, so what? That is her money. It is the debt owed to her. Now, all black people, Tori, if you got your reparations tomorrow, bro, you're going to take your money and you're going to squander it. They don't give black people reparations, bro, because the few that's going to be smart with money is going to move accordingly. The ones that don't, that's fine. At least you got what is rightfully yours, and you know the debt was paid. Is that it? All this pocket watch what black people do with their money, and they want to take black people's money. It's crazy. So, like I said, that's the one thing I want to lay out. I hope I was clear on that. You know, I'll check your Twitter. If or you know, I mean, sorry, not Twitter. On this.
All right.
Yes,
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shout out to Chaos for coming up. Next up, we got Malcolm. What's going on?
Oh, how you doing? How's your audience doing?
Doing good.
Okay, when it comes to Umar, I'll be brief in general. I have a brief intro. I think we live in the era of last time on the revolution won't be televised. You know how they have soap operas and they say last time. But I think we got to be aware of popular figures. I don't know if it's Tariq or Umar or Young Pharaoh or Alex Jones or Trump, Joe Rogan, whatever. I think that when you're on YouTube, that's a part of the mainstream, right? So if you think of some of the information these people that I mentioned might say, maybe they have an ulterior motive behind it, maybe they're over focusing, who knows? But I think you got to be watchful for what's on the media. And a lot of people don't know about Umar Johnson, like back in the day. Some people know like in 2018, but in 2015, I mean, he was criticizing Black people as hard as Bill Cosby or Candace Owens. And I think some pro-Blacks, especially of that era, they can say all these things, but say power to the people or
I think we might have lost him. I don't know what happened. He just cut out.
Is drying up a little. Oh, what did you say? Sorry.
No, your sound went out. Like I don't know if you sound like you were still talking, but we couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. What was the last thing I said?
I can't. Well, it's the last thing you said was when you came back in. You was muted for like a good.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying that a lot of the pro-Black people in before 2015 they would criticize us as hard as Candace Owens or Bill Cosby, but then they will say it's all because of white supremacy or say that Black people are the strongest, kind of like a no homo clause, but and he's taken a lot of information, some from Kwan Jufu in terms of 1,000 Ways to Destroy Black Boys, countering the conspiracy. Dr. Claude Anderson. I mean, he's really taken a lot of people's, body of work. It's just I wish the people that he beefed with, like, they could have supported the school, or their audiences, could have supported, the school, and then instead of just the division, and calls out LeBron or whatever superstars. That's another thing. He's been calling out superstars and stuff. And I'm gonna finish it up. In terms of the Delaware, school scam, he always, tells black people every year since around 2013 or 2014, oh, there's gonna be a school, there's gonna be a school, and it doesn't happen consistently. You have to understand where that school is, right? Delaware, the rule policy of corporations, of law litigation, that's a place where a lot of, billion-dollar fanciers, corporations, NGOs, funnel their money because they obfuscate who can own an LLC or a holding company. And then we're talking about people, billionaires, and a lot of, influences of different government. So it's kind of suspect that Umar, who says there's going to be a school every single year, is at that location, is at the state of Delaware. And then one final thing, that school has been, um, it's been the headquarters of a lot of economics, and they lied.
All right, Mike, I'm gonna have to cut you off because for some reason
I'm
your
on.
stuff keeps
Oh, I'm sorry.
your
You can hear me.
your thing keeps going out. Like it did it like 3 times.
Okay, but you can still. Okay, I see. I'm saying
And
that school,
actually,
the Moyer.
and I actually got to
Huh.
move on to the next person.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
All right.
because like I said I'm keeping it on a time restraint.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
There's a lot of corruption in the Moyer Academy. Okay, see you.
but thanks for calling up. Next, we got Joseph.
Salute, Taurean. Salute to the chat room. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
First, let me say happy 2025 to everyone in the chat room and to you as well. Sorry that I'm late, catching up on your live streams. It's just been a roller coaster from the start. And on the topic of Umar, the problem with his situation is that he has burned too many bridges and is cutting himself off from the resources he needs to continue, what it is he's trying to do. And what he said, I didn't even see the video about what he said about reparations, but based on what you have shared, it's like when he said that, it almost guarantees that he's gonna lose the audience he's had,
Yeah,
and he
he
may
must.
get sooner than expected.
He better take a cue from how we reacted to when Fat Joe was speaking greasy last year, because y'all saw what recently happened with him, and that's going to be a live I plan on doing next week about Fat Joe being
Him resigning.
he claims he resigned from being the host of the BET Hip Hop Awards, but I truly believe that he didn't resign. But that's going to be the topic. That's going to be one of the live topics for next week.
And I said what I said about, him losing his audience because of everything that's happened with Umar and people coming after him, and people questioning his sincere credentials. The only person in the new black media that has always given him the benefit of the doubt until he came at him sideways was Tariq Nasheed.
Mm-hmm. He put him in his Living Colors
And
movie.
I've started following the new black media like really in the middle, 2016, right after I saw all of the Hidden Colors and started following different people in the black grassroots circles. I've noticed with Tariq, even though Umar has said some slick stuff, he has always given him the benefit of the doubt. And I was watching one of his podcasts where he was giving his input about a court case Umar was facing in Philadelphia about his certification as a school psychologist. I think what Umar did was took what Tariq said out of context, and all of a sudden, this whole thing between him and Tariq started, and it was like, that happened. Tariq said his piece, and it was like for Umar now to come out and say what he said about, reparations makes it all the more important for us to delineate from blacks in the diaspora who are not on code with the message as far as black empowerment. Us delineating and getting reparations is a part of black empowerment. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. No, but what?
But
No, you was asking me a question.
no, I was making a statement saying like, isn't us getting reparations for slavery and remaining on code as far as like getting stuff like an anti-black hate crime bill a part of black empowerment?
Yes. As a matter of fact, it should be near the top of the list, if not at the top of the list. Like I said, we're not asking anymore. We are demanding.
And that's all I gotta say, really. And you said it best. Umar better take a cue of what's happened to Fat Joe. If not, the same fate that has fallen on him is going to happen to him. And it's sad because he does say some profound things, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah,
dude.
it's the same thing that Candace Owens does. Like they'll say something that gets people to agree with them, and then they'll flip the switch and then say something like that, and then it's like, oh, she's like this. That's why I say I keep internalizing what she said back in 2016 on Tucker Carlson. Y'all saw the video I did on her, and I inserted the clip where she said black people are the most murderous group in America. Like she boldly said that. She didn't even stutter or stumble when she said it because she meant it. And ever since she said that, I've internalized what she said, and that's what made me completely loathe that woman ever since, no matter what she says. I don't care if she flipped the switch around, and I know she'll never say it, and say that Black Foundation Black Americans deserve reparations. We know she ain't gonna say it, but hypothetically she did. I still wouldn't trust her because it's like, first off, we don't need to hear from you. We already know that we demand reparations happen since before you said it. And then think about what she said recently when she said she had a Caribbean bias. So that's how I know for a fact she wouldn't say it. She just said that she would defend a Rihanna or a Nicki Minaj. She literally said that out of her mouth. I had people that came at me under the comment section of that video and tried to say that I was wrong. Literally, they will do anything to defend whatever she says or anything a lot of these grifters will say because they need them. They need them to be their shields. And if we call it out, we are the interference of that shield. It leaves them wide open for attack, and they can't have that. But these grifters don't realize that they're a little pawn in a much bigger game that they have, in which, of course, of a chessboard, the pawn does not win.
And every shield crack, the more pressure you put on it.
Exactly.
Well,
thank
with
you,
that,
Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for coming up.
No problem.
Got to move to the next person. I appreciate you. Shout out to Joseph for coming up. Next up, we got the mayor. I'm just calling him the mayor. What's going on, bro?
Hey, B1 FBA, salute to the chat, salute to the family. I'm a descendant of Frederick Douglass. I'm a descendant of Harriet Tubman. I'm a descendant of all of these. Martin Delaney. I met Dr. Umar or Cubar. I met him back in 2016. Like a lot of y'all, I found out about him through Hidden Colors. Specifically Hidden Colors 1 and 2. And at that time, we started a movement here in Denver, Colorado called Sankofa. And Sankofa means to go back to the past, fetch something, and bring it to the present. So we started our own organization out here in Denver, Colorado called Sankofa Denver. And we were responsible for bringing Dr. Cubar, General Seti, even Runoko Rasidi to Denver, Colorado, to name a few. David Banner as well. We brought him to. Anyway, I met Dr. Cubar at the Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church in Denver, Colorado. And at that time, I was sold on the move. I was sold on the school idea because he was saying, we need to educate our own kids. We need to take our kids out these public indoctrination centers. Several people have brought up the conspiracy to destroy black boys. He copied that other brother and came out with that book. And at that time, I was all in. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. We need a school. We need a school for our boys. We need a school for our girls. We need Afrocentric curriculum. A lot of us were fed that in order to be pro-black, you have to be Pan-Africanist. Now, the people in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they were like, hey, if you're going to be pro-black, you got to be Pan-Africanist. And, we fell for that. A lot of us fell for that for a short time. Then Dr. Claude Anderson was like, hey, in 2013, he was like, hey, look, y'all are Native Black Americans. Y'all Native-born Africans. Y'all are Native Black Americans, and y'all are an exceptional people. I took heed to everything that Dr. Claude Anderson was saying. I was like, okay, look, we got to acknowledge our own indigenous heritage here. I had my grandma tell me she was Blackfoot before she died. And she was a Black Panther as well. Like, I have Black Panthers and Garbyites in my family. So we were like, hey, yeah, Pan-Africanism, that's the way to go, blah, blah, blah. They come to find out, these mugs in the diaspora ain't on that at all. I have somebody I'm real close to that's a Dominican, right? He's really upset about this movement. Yes, he had the audacity to call me up on a conference call, told me that we were causing division. I said, look, we already told y'all to sue y'all own colonizer. The only reason why y'all upset because y'all not gonna qualify for our reparations claim. And then y'all tell us, don't claim America. You shouldn't be claiming America. That's the colonists. You claiming a rape, slavery, and pedophile. So I said, look, y'all claiming Africa. Y'all don't even control nothing over in Africa. Y'all can't trace nothing back in Africa. And then y'all like the Arabs controlled most of Africa. So what y'all when y'all say y'all African, then y'all saying that y'all the property of the Arabs because there was the trans-Saharan slave trade before the transatlantic slave trade, which none of them ever want to discuss or talk about. So we said, look, sue your own colonizer. Those of y'all in the diaspora that's on code, y'all need to sue y'all damn colonizer. They said, no. We descendants of slavery too. We like, okay, look, y'all descendants of slavery, but y'all need to sue y'all colonizer. They wasn't trying to hear that. So now we have to show and prove. Like we said, we knocked Fat Joe out the paint. We about to knock Dr. Cubar out the paint. We're getting all these tethers out our mix. This delineation is probably the best thing that could have happened to us since segregation. So we need to get these tethers out the mix. They are trying to stand in the way of our progress, and we just can't allow that. And like the brother said previous to me, that is a form of Black empowerment, getting what is rightfully owed to us. Us acknowledging our lineage here on this land don't mean, oh, you just don't want to have nothing to do with Africa. Y'all, these Pan-Africanists, a lot of them, they ain't even set foot in Africa. They steady telling us to go back to Africa, talking about go back to Africa. We need to reconnect with the land. One of the brothers that we started the Sankofa movement with, Brother Murray, he just went out to Kenya. He was in Kenya for 4 years. He set up a whole compound out there, and he said this house is off cold as hell. He said they let the Caucasoid do whatever out there, and he just came back to Denver like, hey, look, I can't do it no more. These people ain't on code. That Pan-Africanism is basically a scam. It's not what we think it is, because these people, they don't even acknowledge themselves as African. They acknowledge themselves as British subjects and et cetera, French subjects, Arab subjects. So how you going to get on code with a people like that? How you going to unify with a people like that don't even want to acknowledge they Black? I had straight up Dominicans here in Denver, Colorado tell me they ain't Black. They darker than me. I said, hey, what's up, brother? I know Black. Me know Black.
And but will be the same ones. They will know the lyric to every rap song. They will dress like us, like literally try to be talk like us. I mean, literally, like up and down and everywhere in between. And it's like you can see it, and it's like, wow, you love the culture, but you hate the foundation of that culture, which is us. You want us up out the paint so bad, and it's irking you. It's eating away at you that you can't do it. Like you tried everything you could, but you're just not successful at it whatsoever. Somebody actually pointed out to me something I didn't even think about until I read it. The reason why you see a lot of I would say south of the Borderians trying to do, like, I will use Fat Joe for an example, trying to claim that they created hip hop or they created 50% of it and all types of stuff like that. It's because of the music. And I said, you know what? And I'll ask the chat, how many of you have ever heard like traditional, I would say Mexican or Puerto Rican or Dominican music, like actual music that derives from those locations?
I have.
When you listen, when you listen to it, that music does not cross over well into other communities like hip hop did.
Hell
That
no.
became universal. That's why they had to latch on to hip hop, because their music could not cross over well. It did not blend well. It didn't gravitate to the masses the way that they had hoped it would. It only some there probably didn't even like how it tried to blend with hip hop in their own countries. They said, no, this is not the real thing. Let's just listen to the actual thing. Fine, listen to it, whatever. However, when you start saying that you did this and this to hip hop when you know you didn't, then that's when we have a problem, and then that's when we're going to have to check it, which is what we just did with Fat Joe. As a matter of fact, someone actually, when I was reading that same post, they said, "I know why they keep gravitating towards hip hop. I would too if my traditional music sounded like clown music."
Right. That's exactly
and if you listen to it, go ahead.
I make it akin to polka. It sounds like polka.
It does sound like an ethnic version of polka music. It does. Like, and the thing is, and I don't know how many times I've heard this over the years. It's this one beat. It's this one production beat that it seems to be universal. I don't know who created it, but people who are like Puerto Rican or Dominican or whoever, whatever Spanish speaking language in the Caribbean, it's this one universal production beat that they constantly use in not every song, but a good 90% of the songs. And if you was to hear it, you'd be like, yep, that's that beat. It's like a 4-count beat. And I keep hearing it. And whenever I hear it, it's like, I'm like, y'all don't have no other beats y'all can use. Y'all use that same beat over and over and over again for every song. And the beat doesn't even necessarily supposed to go with the song, but y'all found a way to use that same beat. Yeah. But y'all want me to believe that you had a hand in creating hip hop.
I think it's salsa or rumba. One of them.
Yeah. Like, yeah. When I hear it, it's like it annoys me because it's like y'all don't have no other beat but that one. I see people in the chat. Someone said, "Is it salsa?" I don't know what it is. If I was to actually find that beat, and it's probably floating somewhere on YouTube because it's a very popular beat. It's like when they used it one time, they said, "You know what? This is the one we're going to constantly use," and and it's an old beat. It's not a new one. It's probably created maybe in the had to be like the early 2000s. Because I think that's around the time when I started to hear it.
It's probably that reggaeton beat.
It probably is you know what? It probably is that reggaeton beat. But when I hear it, I always hear, and I think people in the chat are agreeing because they know that same exact beat, but I don't know the name of it. But when I hear it, it's like y'all don't have no other beat but that. But okay, whatever. But Jesse, I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually have one more person that I have to let up.
Let me land my plane with this. I donated to this damn school, got nothing out of it. I donated to Tariq Nasheed, got a Hidden History Museum out of it. The same people that was calling our music, Jungle Bunny music, all of that, now they want to try to lay claim to our art form, our culture, our creation, FBA, all the way. Make sure y'all check us out on Frontline Black News. We're going to be going live about this later. Appreciate the time, Taurean. I'll let you get to the next one. Peace.
All right. Shout out to the mayor for coming up, and we got one more person coming up, and that is Jay the Informant. What's going on, Jay? And yes, like I said in the Discord, the jokes do write themselves. Jay, you there? Because I know you was just muting. You took yourself off mute. Jay, I don't know if you
Yo,
had.
can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yo, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yo, am I coming through? Yeah, I'm tripping. My bad, man. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Tori?
What's going on?
Man, so this clown, Umar Johnson, man. Hey, dude, I have to say, he's been a scam artist for the longest. What can we really say? But just getting into the details about this guy. This is people shouldn't be following this guy. From my understanding, he's not even raising his two daughters, or well, one's 21 now, so he's not even raising the other one. He's homeless. He doesn't have a home, and he has a failed school that he's been working on for 2 decades. And now, currently, he's over there in Ghana. And I dropped some stuff in the Discord. If you saw the girl, if you guys were in the Discord, I think Wallow J was in there. The girl that's in the purple that he's currently dealing with, that he's in current partnership with, or whatever you guys want to fancy word they want to use for, sleeping with. She has an OnlyFans page, and she has a YouTube page, and she has an Instagram page where she sells explicit items, including a molding of her downstairs. So this guy has all this to say, and on top of that, she has, like, if you go on her YouTube page where I posted in Discord, she wears weaves. Like, she has like a tutorial how to put on weaves and all that stuff. So he's a hypocrite. The people that he deal with are low character. He's low character. He's not a doctor. He doesn't have a license to be a doctor. So I don't know why people could keep calling him Dr. Umar. He's just Umar. He's not a descendant of Frederick Douglass. He's actually a he switched it up to saying that he's a descendant of the cousin of Frederick Douglass that was on a plantation at one point in time with Frederick Douglass. So he switches up everything about his story. And I want to get into that interview. The interview that you posted, I didn't watch you play it, but I hope you covered this part where he was talking about black people shouldn't get any money or whatsoever, and that we need land and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was in there.
Yeah, okay. So he has land. What is he doing with the land that he currently has? He has land at the moment of time that we're talking right now. For the last 4 or 5 years, he had land. And what is he doing? He's begging for more money. So how's that land working out for him? He's not holding events outside.
This is playing out just like Akon City. Oh man, that was funny when they revealed Akon City, and all was there was a bunch of cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks and a sign. I think it was a sign up there too.
I think it was a sign there saying this is Akon City, some cinder blocks.
So he want to. I mean, he's one of the biggest hypocrites because he talks about all we need is land. This guy has land and he's doing nothing with it. And a YouTuber actually exposed that he was actually not pay. He didn't pay $400K for that land. He paid like $10 for the land because it's so dilapidated. The building have so much mold on them that it's a hazard at this point. So he really can't have anybody in there. So he's doing the outside of the building to make it look good. But there's nothing that's going to eventually happen at that school. The only thing that he's done to that school recently was he put up guard gates on all the windows, so you can't go into the property and all that stuff, because he had a huge crisis where homeless people were just going onto the property, throwing trash on the property, and treating it as a dump site. As he says, they were treating it as a dump site. So they had a bunch of trash all over the school. So he had this contractor. By the way, the contractor was white. I'm not being racist or anything, but he was white. Contractor was white. Put up gates all around the school. Put up cameras around the school. Spent a bunch of money, with the contractor just to get the gates around the school of a project that's never going to come into fruition. He's not even holding any events on the outside of the school. He keeps saying he owns the street, which he actually doesn't own the street, but he keeps saying he owns the street, but he's not doing any events up there at the school to make money. Only thing he's doing is going to these podcasters. Somebody exposed that they pay him like $500 in a hotel room to do these podcast shows. He's going to see the podcasters just talking down on everybody, talking down specifically on black people who he wants to leave, while he's now currently laying up with a not Instagram, but OnlyFans model, who, by the way, if you go on her OnlyFans, I link to Discord, you can see her prices in there for what she does. He's laying up there with her in Ghana, pretty much passing on the new STD over there in another country. That's all he's doing. So I mean, what's the point of having somebody like Umar Johnson? His value is in my opinion, his value is actually negative to the community.
Yeah, like I don't see it. Like I said, right now this is his new grip is talking down on reparations. Like I said, default and factory settings.
Mm-hmm.
Just I always say that default and factory settings.
Yeah,
When they
when you
have
have
to
none,
get to it, when they have nothing left, that's exactly what they do, and we are their default and factory settings. Every
exactly.
grifter.
No, you're 100% right about that, man. And it's sad
Because
to see
people are
that.
not because the thing is he can't talk about that school anymore because people are tired of hearing about it. Like, it's at the
Right.
point where they're like, look, if you ain't here to talk about this school, we really don't want to hear nothing. So okay, I can't talk about that no more. So let me go ahead and talk about another hot button topic, and that's
Mm-hmm.
reparations and why I feel Black people shouldn't give in this. And I'm gonna give these reasons as to why. And the thing is that doesn't hit because again, the stuff that he's saying is not anything we have not already heard.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one new thing you can say, I should say not one more new BS thing you can say, because that's what it'll turn out to be. That'll make people be like, oh, you know what, he got a point.
Facts. No, I 100% agree with that. He has no point. All he has is talking points that he hears from other people. So you can't take this guy serious. He's more of an entertainer than anything else. He's not educated. He steals his talking points, in my opinion. I wouldn't listen to him. The people I do see following Umar Johnson, they're following him because they think he's a Pan-Africanist, when all factuality, he's a Pan-Africanist for profit, which is different from a Pan-Africanist. Just like Roland Martin, he's a Democrat. He might talk Black, but at the end of the day, he's a Democrat. He might say he's independent, but at the end of the day, he's a Democrat. With this Umar Johnson dude, we don't even know how much money he really has. People actually went over his books and made YouTube videos of it, saying that none of these numbers are adding up from what he says on YouTube. Where he was he had like he said he already has 1 million, he needs another million, but then you have somebody like King Randall, who I don't agree with King Randall when it comes to politics, but King Randall had like $50,000 and he opened up a school. So why you have $500,000 or $800,000, what he was saying, and this guy over here has $50,000. He can do it with $50,000 in 2 years. You had 2 decades, and you have all this money, but you can't get it done. And it's everybody else's fault. It's not. It's never his fault. No team, no plan, no nothing, no connections to the community that he's currently in. Just a moldy, rotten down building, and a crazy person named Umar Johnson who's eventually going to be hunting. His spirit's going to be hunting those buildings one day when they knock it down. That's all I wanted to say, man.
All right, appreciate you coming up.
Take care.
All right. Shout out to JD and Foreman for closing it out. That was the last person to come up and speak. But listen, y'all, it was a lot of y'all that came up and spoke. I knew y'all was gonna be very opinionated about this. I already be knowing when I be creating the thumbnail. I be knowing what topic people are gonna definitely want to come up and speak on, and we're gonna be doing some more live. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Next week's videos and lives are probably going to be some of the most interesting lives and videos that y'all are going to see. Probably even more interesting than the 2 I did this week, which was the one today and the one on Slim Thug on Thursday. I think I did another live before then, but just be on the lookout for that, because next week's videos, a chunk of them are going to be reaction video based type of content. One of them is going to be a news-ish, and then the lives are going to be kind of reaction-ish as well. You'll see what I mean. But next week's going to be a great week. I'm pinning it now. But shout out to everyone that came through. Shout out to everybody that hit the Cash App, all of the people who became a new member or still are currently a member. Shout out to people who hit the Super Chat as well. Shout out to everyone that came up and spoke. Another midday live in the books. No live tomorrow, but there will be a YouTube short going up tomorrow, and it's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be about what's going on out there in LA with those fires, but from a particular standpoint, from something that was brought to my attention. You'll see what I mean when that video goes up tomorrow. That'll be around 10 a.m., so be on the lookout for that. And with that being said, everybody, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure y'all stay warm and all of that good stuff. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Be safe and be one.